happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Gonna be working on the Fox body today. Gonna start plumbing the brake lines on the car this weekend, and let's see how far we could get to today. Getting the 7.3 Godzilla Lightning warmed up, and we can pull it out of the garage so we can work on the Fox. Man, it's a little beauty. Really nice. That thing sounds good. Boy, Gary's been working on that truck non-stop for like the past year and a half. Almost done, almost ready to go into the shop for interior. It's pretty much all that's left, and then get it into the dyno for final tuning. But let's bring the car down and let's see where we last left off on the Fox and figure out how we're going to plumb these brake lines, figure out the cleanest routing and whatnot. So let's bring the car down. I got my little setup going already. It's a nice tool from Summit to flare the brake lines. Got my brake line benders here. Got my proportional valve for the rear brake lines here. My T for my front. This nice tool right here straightens out the brake line because it does come in a roll, so if you need to straighten it out, this is a nice tool. Comes in handy. Got multiple fittings for it. Got extra line right here. I got my first line already bent to the way I needed. This is going to be for the rear, and so this one's going to hook to the proportional valve. I like using a welding rod to mold the line, and then from there I just measure it, and then I cut this line, I straighten it out, and then I flare the end on it and get my bends of the way I want it. Like I said, this is a sample of one of the lines I'm going to be making right now, so let's get to it. So as you can see, line's bent. Gonna put this in here, put some tension on it, and then just essentially just drag it through, and it will straighten it out. And just like that, you got a straight brake line. All right, let's get these let's get this end flared on there. Let's get the fitting on there that I'm going to need. All right, so got it flush to 0, just like that. I am doing 13/16, so this tool's really nice. Once you make sure this is nice and tight so it don't move. Step 1, this is double flare, so that's step 1, and then this is step 2. Alright, just like that. Get this loose right here, pull this pin, and just like that, got a nice flare. Alright, let's get this fitting slid through. once you get that fitting slid through, as you can see, get a nice flush look. Looks nice. All right, so got my rear line done. Well, from the cylinder to the proportional valve part is done. Gonna mock it up in the car and make sure everything fits. All right, so now I gotta straighten out this whole roll. This is what's gonna be going from after the proportional valve back to the rear brake, to the rear end for the rear brake lines. So I gotta straighten this whole thing out. All right, so I got my brake line all straightened out. I cut it to 135 inches, which gives me plenty of room to give me all the bends I need underneath the car. So this will be going from the proportional valve towards the rear end. So let's get the one end flared on there, the one that's going to go to the proportional valve, and then we'll bend the line as we go on the car. There's plenty of space underneath the car to bend this, so let's do this. All right, so I got my brake lines plumbed back here. Let's see if we can check it out. So I got my get a light. Got my steel braided lines on both calipers. Then they run back here on the back side of the diff. Going to make some brackets to hold this in place right here, but it runs up here, goes to this T up here, which essentially this line coming from the front, it's going to run along the frame rail, and then essentially it's going to meet up here. So as you can see, it's the bracket I made to hold the T up there. Alright, so my rear brake lines are done. It's all fully plumbed. Get it all nice and P-clamped underneath the chassis. Got it all hooked up. So all that's left to do is plumb the front now. And just so you guys know, essentially, once the car is 100% done, I am going to remove the rear end and all the lines all over again, and I'm planning on rhino lining the bottom of the car. I didn't want to rhino line it prior to doing all this because I am planning on welding subframe connectors, and I didn't want to grind the rhino line once it was done to weld the subframe connectors, and then also my anti-roll bar, which also needs to be welded in here. So like I said, all this is all going to come back out once it's all 100% done. So now that the rear brake lines are done, let's see what the fronts, what's it going to take to get the fronts done. All right, so I didn't record me flaring the front brake lines, but front brake lines are done to the caliper. Made my brake line bracket right there. Just goes in through here. Let's check out the passenger side. So passenger side comes out from here, goes down to my brake line bracket into the caliper. Alright, let's check out the plumbing from the brake booster. Alright, so this is the new brake booster to the hydro booster back there. You can see the T way back there. That T right there is basically, so this is the front brake lines, this one right here up in the front. Goes to that T right there. One side goes to the driver's side, and then the other one goes up behind here, goes across, and comes down, and that's the one that goes to the passenger side. So the front brake lines are done. Everything's bled. As you can see, it's holding fluid. So we got front brakes. Brake lines are all wrapped up. Brake pedal feels good. Let's get on to the power steering lines. Alright guys, welcome back. I'm going to continue this video. I am currently working on the power steering lines. So you can see, got them here. Got my, get this light on real quick. So I ended up making a bracket to hold this electric power steering pump. Comes out of Volvo. That way I didn't have to buy the power by the hour power steering accessory kit. It saves me like $900. So went to the junkyard, got me an electric power steering pump, and we're running the lines right now. So you can see. So I got the lines already all hooked up to the hydro boost already, and they're coming down. And now I gotta figure out, I'm gonna make them hook up to the rack and then to here. So that's the feed, and then that's the return right there. So that's today's project. Try to get this knocked out today, and that'll probably wrap up the video once I'm done with this project. But let's get to it. Alright, so power steering lines are done. Got some riv nuts in there with P-clamps holding everything nicely to the bottom of the rack. It splits to the Y, goes to the power steering pump right there, electric power steering pump. And you can see from up here, you can see where the cap is. That's where you fill it from. It's nice and tucked away. See it down there. We put wheels on it, the mock-up, some just regular stock Mustang mock-up wheels, and we turned on the pump and turned the steering wheel left and right, made sure that we didn't have no leaks up here, and everything seems to be holding. So that everything's nicely tucked over here. These banjo fittings definitely made life easier, because if I would have used AM fittings, it would have hit the windshield wiper motor up here. So these things make everything nice and slick. Got these off of LMR. So brake boosters all wrapped up. The plumbing is pretty much almost all wrapped up. The only plumbing pretty much left on the car is going to be the AC lines, which I'm going to handle next weekend. And that's pretty much it. My car's pretty close to firing up already and throwing coolant and all the fluids in the car. But hope you guys have been enjoying the videos, and I'll keep updating you guys with some more progress here in the next week or so. Check you guys out on the next one. Peace.